Homeowners here are set to bear a bigger risk burden once the government starts rolling out its National Adaptation Framework. The framework sets out how the government, local councils, the private sector and individuals will work together to manage climate-related risks. Stuff's Money editor Damien Venuto is with me now. Kia ora, Damien. So this sounds like it could be a bit scary, is it?
It is and it isn't. Now, normally when we hear the words National Adaptation Framework, our eyes glaze over. We think it just refers to building seawalls, protecting us from the environment. But it's actually a lot more than that. It's about shifting the risk profile in New Zealand, because at the moment, what we have is properties that are being sold in coastal areas, properties that are being sold in areas prone to flooding, and we're selling them at the same price despite the fact that the risk profile has shifted. What this plans to do is shift that risk profile so that when it comes to buying a house, it reflects the amount of risk that that house entails.
Okay, so break it down a little bit further for us. The National Adaptation Framework, what is it designed to do?
So it's meant to show you what the risk looks like. So one way it's going to do that is through a national flood map. Now, the national flood map will basically show you whether a property is in a high-risk area. We already have elements of that, but this is really going to formalize that, and it's going to be about airing the dirty laundry of your property and showing it to the entire market.
So any buyer potentially could see that, and it does come back to insurance, doesn't it?
Yeah. So the reason why we need to shift the risk profile is because after 2023, the big insurers, now these are the reinsurers, these are the people that back our insurance companies in the event of those big climate events. After 2023, they were left a little shocked because of how severe that flooding was. And so what they said was, we need New Zealand to lift its risk profile so that we can keep insuring you. If you don't do that, then we're either just going to keep hiking prices or we're going to pull out of the market. When those big reinsurers talk, we have to listen.
So it's going to lay bare things like flooding risk, as you say, and this won't be able to be hidden from potential buyers in the future. Yeah,
and the other big lever that's being pulled here is that the government's not going to be the insurer of last resort. They're not going to be the backstop. So in the past, if your property was damaged, the government would step in and buy it out. That's not going to happen anymore, except in very, very specific circumstances. So the government's saying, when you buy a property, you need to be aware of the risk. We're making the risk apparent to you, and the onus is on you to bear that risk from this point forward.
Okay, the question, of course, that we all want the answer to is how much could this affect our property values?
So it's difficult because the rules aren't in place yet. But what we do have are some examples historically where house prices have dropped in response to a major event. So after the 2015 floods in Dunedin, we saw property prices drop 15% in the immediate aftermath. The problem was that about 6 months later, property prices readjusted and they were back to where they were before the flooding happened. Memories are short. What this does is it says that we want the pricing to shift so that that risk is reflective and that it stays reflective.
Yes, we do have short memories, don't we? Okay, thank you so much, Damien Venuto, Stuff's Money editor.
Thanks, Sam.
Tēnā koe.